Hi, I'm Hub Arkush for Pro Football Weekly with more analysis on what's really going on between the owners and the players in the current labor impasse as it starts to stretch into its second month. Remember, it was March 11th that both sides walked away from the table. The owners would like you to believe that it was the players who walked away from the table. And they did. They decertified their union. But the truth is, both sides walked away. Remember, federal mediator Cohn said, "We see no point to continuing mediation at this point, I should say, because both sides are so far apart." Now, the owners have spent the last 2+ weeks doing everything they can to convince us that it's the players who've walked away and the players who won't negotiate. That's not really true. The players are willing to negotiate on their terms with lawyers who are handling their antitrust suit, talking about a settlement that could eventually lead to a CBA. The owners are not willing to negotiate unless the players once again declare themselves a union and go back and sit with the federal mediator. Now, why is that the problem? You would think it is about the money. Money's an issue, but they're probably closer on that than they are on this issue. It's because the owners do not want to be bound by the federal courts. And here's where this gets really interesting. Well, if they don't want to be bound by the federal courts, all they got to do is get an antitrust exemption. But they tried that. In the spring of 2010, the Supreme Court, a court that votes 5-4 on whether New Year's Eve is December 31st, voted 9-0 against the owners and said, no, you are definitely bound by the antitrust laws, and that means if you break them, you're going to end up in court. The only way the owners can stay out of court is if the union collectively bargains away these things that are infractions of the antitrust law. Well, then they can get away with it. And that's why it's so important for the owners to have the players still maintained as a union. They can't sue them on these antitrust violations if the union is in place because they gave them to them in the collective bargaining agreement. That's why the key has become the April 6th hearing, and whichever way Judge Nelson rules in that hearing is going to dictate how quickly this whole thing comes to an end. If she rules in favor of the owners, well, then the players have got to rethink their position because they're going to be locked out for at least 5 more months, and we know that the actual antitrust case is going to take 2 or 3 years to get tried. But if she rules in favor of the players, even though both sides will appeal, the owners have got to take a hard look at getting back to the table on any terms they can, because if they actually end up taking this thing all the way out in court, well, the Supreme Court has already ruled you are in violation of the antitrust laws. That's what you want to keep an eye on, and that's what they're arguing about now. It's more about form, not substance. For Pro Football Weekly, I'm Hub Arkush. Check back right here at ProFootballWeekly.com, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the best coverage in the NFL.